And Kamala's.
You had it right. You almost got it.
I will say Kamala's name any way that I want to.
No,
but
you mispronounced her. You also misjudged her.
I just did, and I'll do it again.
Mispronouncing her name.
That's what we're supposed to acknowledge her humanity.
If I purposely mispronounced your name, that would not be appropriate.
Policies.
But when you disrespect Kamala Harris by saying you will call her whatever you want, I know you don't intend it to be that way. That's the history and legacy of white disregard for the humanity of black people.
Oh, so now you're calling me racist.
I didn't say. I just.
MAGA Republican Congressperson Nancy Mace was a guest on CNN as part of a panel. During this panel, she pretended like she didn't know how to pronounce Kamala Harris's name. She mispronounced it on purpose. And when she was called on that, she said she could pronounce it whichever way she wanted, which then led to accusations of racism by people on the panel. Things got heated. There was a lot of shouting going on, and kind of all hell broke loose. Cenk Uygur and John Iadarola of the Young Turks covered all of this. I'm going to show you clips from CNN as well as Cenk Uygur and John Iadarola breaking this down. Let's get into it.
Trump injecting Vice President Harris's race and then suggesting that she's not actually black. Why is he doing that? Should he stop?
Well, I mean,
yes or no?
I didn't hear him say it. I didn't hear what he said about her race. I am not going to weigh in on her race. As a woman,
I did say it.
Okay, well, as a woman,
said it.
I want to weigh in.
She turned black. He said she was raised Indian. She was Indian. All he knew. Now she's turned black.
Well, she's a mixed race. She's a mixed race.
This doesn't take that much courage, honestly, to just say that was out of bounds.
I don't know what he said. I didn't see.
He said that she turned black. He questioned whether she was really black. I don't think that's that hard to say. That's out of bounds. Can you say that?
I mean, I didn't say it, and I would not say it.
Just say yes.
I just said
we are connected to your inability to pronounce her name.
We are out of time.
It's a very.
We are out of time.
It's a cult. They won't say anything that goes against the cult. Yes, you are.
It's a cult. I mean, that's what it is. This isn't news or anything. I like that Abby Phillips brought that up. I will only say, if you're gonna do that sort of thing, and you should do that sort of thing, you're gonna have Nancy Mace on, you wanna question her about this, you know that she's gonna try to weasel out of it, you gotta have the clip ready to go. It's like when you're gonna stop like a congressman like in the halls and be like, Trump tweeted this crazy thing, you gotta print it out, man. You gotta have it ready because they're gonna say they didn't hear it, they didn't see it, I don't know, you gotta show it to them. So that would have been my own.
Great point. I just break in here for just a second to say great point by John Iadarola. I don't know, CNN is a giant media company. Just play the clip so they can't pretend like they aren't aware of it. Just be like, here's the clip. Here's the tape of what Donald Trump had to say. What do you say about this? Instead of them weaseling out of it by saying, oh, I don't know, I didn't see it.
My only critique, but right there, she was told exactly what he said and she refuses to admit that it's racist. But that doesn't mean that she isn't going to join him there, because in the extended interview, she starts talking about Kamala Harris and she mispronounces the VP's name. Now, that has happened a lot. Nancy Mace obviously has been in government. She's been around Harris for years at this point, and obviously should know, what her name is, how it's pronounced. In the same way that how could you not know about the BJ news cycle at this point? And she just kept doing it over and over. They would say you're mispronouncing it, and she would say I can mispronounce it if I want, and she would say it over and over again.
So the Young Turks, for whatever reason, they don't share the clip of that. So I'm going to drop that in here right now so you can see it. And then we'll continue on with what John Iadarola has to say.
Kamala's.
You had it right. You almost got it.
I will say Kamala's name any way that I want to.
No,
but
you mispronounced her. You also misjudged her.
I just did, and I'll do it again.
Mispronouncing her name.
That's what we're supposed to acknowledge her humanity.
If I purposely mispronounced your name, that would not be appropriate.
Policies.
But when you disrespect Kamala Harris by saying you will call her whatever you want, I know you don't intend it to be that way. That's the history and legacy of white disregard for the humanity of black people.
Oh, so now you're calling me racist.
I didn't say. I just said use the word
BS.
racist.
That is complete
You don't have
BS.
to intend racism to
No. You are
accomplish it.
intending that
Your
I'm
disrespect
racist,
of Kamala
and
Harris
that is
part and parcel of a traditional disrespect.
Why can't you just, Congresswoman, why can't you just,
I'm not calling you a racist. I'm telling you what the practice is.
You are. You absolutely
are. No, what's disgusting is your disrespect of her.
Professor,
this gentleman said, I didn't know her name. He's trying to do it.
Is her disrespect of women. She doesn't know what a woman is. And if 25 years ago,
white women don't have to go to tell black women who paid the price of blood to make this country what it is to tell them they're not real women.
25 years ago, I became the first woman to graduate from the Citadel, the military college of South Carolina. I fought my way through it.
So pronounce her name right.
Let me actually
pronounce her name right.
Kamala Harris. If
Kamala. You said it without calling you Nancy Mace. It's Kamala. You're doing this on purpose, Congresswoman.
That's disrespectful.
You can't expect people to respect your service if you don't respect
and walked that stage 25 years ago, she would have said it. She would have taken that achievement away from women. That's
let me get in here because I certainly take that, but I'm wondering.
And a lot of rich history comes out of my district in South Carolina that I'm deeply proud of.
With respect.
Trump injecting Vice President Harris's race and then suggesting that she's not actually black. Why is he doing that? Should he stop?
Well, I mean,
yes or no?
I didn't hear him say it. I didn't hear what he said about her race. I am not going to weigh in on her race. I didn't hear him say it. As a woman, I didn't say it. I didn't.
And that led to tweets from like End Wokeness saying, Kamala's sacred and holy name is slightly mispronounced. All hell breaks loose. You are a white woman that is disrespecting a black man, which is just a literal description of what was happening. To which she says, these boys were so easily triggered. And both of them just got it so wrong. End Wokeness, it wasn't slightly mispronounced, it was mispronounced. And it was intentionally mispronounced. That's what that whole segment was. Now, maybe there's something lost in translation, and Wokeness, after all, is a Russian bot account. Look it up. It became super clear when they talked about warm water ports. But for Nancy Mace, they weren't triggered on the panel. They identified what you were doing. The point of you mispronouncing it, and when corrected, doubling down and mispronouncing it again, is to tell the audience she has a silly foreign name that doesn't deserve respect. It's not like Nancy or anything, like a real name that people should know how to pronounce. That's a foreign name. That's an outsider, other name, and nobody needs to respect it. And that basically is what Donald Trump was selling with the idea that she's black, she's Indian, whatever, who knows, maybe she became something. It's super weird, you don't have to respect it. That is what they're selling to their white voter base. The idea that these people aren't like you, they don't deserve consideration or respect or compassion or humanity. And she is very much a part of that movement, or, sorry, I don't want to offend the Congresswoman, cult.
Yeah, so I have mixed feelings about this. So usual, slightly divergent opinion from me, but hold. So first on Nancy Mace pretending that she doesn't know that Donald Trump said that she just turned black. She knows, okay? That was not a small news story, that was a gigantic news story. The reason she doesn't want to talk about it is because what Trump has said is asinine, and she can't say that because they're all obligated to kiss his ass. So that puts her in what she views to be an unwinnable situation because she can't be honest. But then that's Tuesday for politicians, let alone a Republican politician. So that's why she's just trying to get away from that segment the whole time. Please let this be over, please let this be over, right? And she's filibustering. Now, on the mispronouncing the name, I'm biased here because I have a non-pronounceable name, so I don't care at all. If I cared, my whole life would be centered around caring about people mispronouncing my name. So I'm gonna come back to that in a second. Triggered. I find this one hilarious and nonsensical. Like, yeah, I did something stupid and it triggered them. I got you guys. No, you didn't get us. You got yourself by saying something stupid. And then we corrected your ass. How is that a win for you? But like MAGA really believes that. That's like their favorite thing in the world. If we say something super stupid and then you guys react, I got you triggered.
And this is a great point by Cenk Uygur. If somebody mispronounces someone's name and it's an honest mistake, that's one thing. But she's clearly, Nancy Mace here, is clearly doing this to be a troll. And this is such grade school level mentality. It's like, oh, like Cenk Uygur is saying, I'm going to mispronounce your name wrong. You know, I'm not going to pronounce your name correctly, and I'll just keep doing it because I can say it however I want. If, you know, any person in society, if you met someone and you told them your name and they mispronounced it and you said, oh no, I say it this way, and they just said, well, I don't care, I'm going to say it however I want to, you would not interact with that person. You wouldn't talk with that person. That would be a ridiculous person that you wouldn't take seriously. But the Republicans are doing this dumb stuff all the time, where their entire existence almost, other than serving donors, which the Democrats do this too, but other than serving donors is to own the libs. That's what they exist for. So is this racist, what she's doing here? I don't know. I don't know if it's intentionally racist to mispronounce her name, but she's doing it. Trump's doing it. A lot of these other Republican politicians, MAGA politicians, are doing it, just like Nancy Mace. And it's just childish. I mean, I don't know how anybody doesn't, you know, even people, if they support the policies that Nancy Mace believes in, why they wouldn't say, this is what children on a playground do. This is not something that behavior that adults engage in.
That's not a thing, guys. I don't know why you think that's a thing. And besides which, if like all it takes, whether you said something stupid or smart, is getting a big reaction out of people, and that means that's a giant win, triggering those people is a giant win, well, then I'm the biggest winner on the internet. Okay, I mean, nobody could dispute that. I've triggered the entire internet, right? I've triggered every part of the political spectrum, and right wingers. You guys have been triggered by me for now what, a couple of decades. Mm-hmm. So apparently, I'm the world champion debater, not by my logic, but by your logic. Because the angrier you get at me, the more I'm winning, apparently. So thank you, I appreciate it.
I'm not getting down on her for mispronouncing a person's name. You can mispronounce a name. What you should have is the strength of character, or like the fundamental grace to, when you're corrected, you update your understanding of it and you say it correctly. Particularly if you are mispronouncing the name of a black woman and you're on a panel with multiple black people that are telling you it is fundamentally disrespectful, and you're doubling down and saying, no, I don't care about y'all's people's names, I'm gonna say it however I want. But the bigger issue is, this is not some random person that like she just found out about. She's been around for a long time. We've heard her name many times. And again, even then I wouldn't have an expectation for most Republicans. But when you are corrected on the panel, just correct yourself and then move on. She decided to make this her stance. I'm not fundamentally like all that down on people mispronouncing names. Again, the racial stuff is different, but people have pronounced my last name when they meet me with an L only about 30,000 times in my life. I don't take it personally because they don't know who I am, because I'm not that notable. But Kamala Harris has been around for a long time. Nancy Mace has heard her name 100,000 times, and she is choosing to make a stand. It's very different than accidentally mispronouncing a name. She wants people watching that to know that she doesn't think it matters whether the name is pronounced correctly or not.
And John Iadarola is exactly correct about this. Any decent, normal person would be like, oh, I'm sorry, I mispronounced the name. I'll say it correctly from now on. Instead of just being a jerk and a child and saying, I'll say it whatever way I want to. It's just childish. And, you know, this is what our politics has descended to, is I'm going to say a name however I want to, and you're triggered by it. The one thing that they don't say here at all, again, I don't know that if this whole thing was racist or not, or it's just owning the libs, but she tweets out, Nancy Mace tweets out, these boys were so triggered. Saying boys about these adult black men, that almost seems more racist than any of the other things that they're accusing Nancy Mace of racism. I'm surprised that John Iadarola or Cenk Uygur didn't say anything about that. I mean, if it would have been the other way around, if one of them had said, oh, this girl, Nancy Mace wouldn't be offended by that. I would think she probably would be. So that is almost more racist than any of the discussion there, I think. And I think it's a little bit funny that Cenk Uygur and John Iadarola didn't point this out. But what do you think, Nancy Mace, with what she was doing on this panel, mispronouncing Kamala Harris's name on purpose? Was this just trolling, or is she trying to be racist? Is this some kind of dog whistle on the part of Nancy Mace and other MAGA Republicans? I don't know. Do you agree with John Iadarola here? Or do you agree more with Cenk Uygur that this is kind of much ado about nothing, that it's just really shouldn't be that offended about names being mispronounced? Let me know what you think. Make sure to give me a comment. I'd like to see your comments on all of this. Give me a like and subscribe. It helps me to grow the channel. The channel's growing quickly. I want to keep it growing and bring out more content like this. Let me know what you think. Like and subscribe. This is Chris on Culture. I will see you in the next video.